All right, let's talk about a choice that pretty much every business wrestles with. How do we really get to know our customers? Do you go for massive global data that tells you what's happening on a huge scale? Or do you need those deep, fast insights that tell you why it's happening? Today, we're diving into that exact question, pitting two very different approaches against each other, the established power of Kantar and the incredible speed of Atypica. This is going to be fun.
So, picture this. I bet it sounds familiar. You're looking at your weekly dashboard, your quarterly report, whatever it is, and a number you really care about has dropped. You know what happened, right? The line on the graph went down. But here's the frustrating part. The data tells you nothing about why. And that's the gap we're going to talk about today.
Let's make it real. Say your brand awareness was at a healthy 65% in the first quarter. Now you look again and it's dropped to 58%. Ouch, that's a 7-point drop. The data is clear, it's accurate, and it's telling you, hey, we have a problem. But what do you do next? That chart isn't giving you any clues.
And this right here is the core idea for our entire conversation. It's the huge difference between simply measuring a problem, hey, we dropped 7 points, and actually diagnosing its cause. Think of it like a doctor. Measuring is taking your temperature. Diagnosing is finding out why you have a fever. And you can't write a prescription without a diagnosis.
So let's start with the traditional toolkit. This is the world of measuring the what. We're talking about the established, large-scale methods that have been the gold standard for tracking what's happening in the market for decades. What's the engine behind this approach? It's something called quantitative panels. Just think of enormous surveys with very structured, often multiple-choice questions that get sent out to thousands, sometimes millions of people. Their entire job is to track metrics and answer one simple but powerful question: how many? Now, the power of this approach, which a company like Kantar absolutely masters, is undeniable. I mean, the scale is just staggering. We're talking about a consumer panel of 150 million people in over 80 countries. It's fantastic for getting that 30,000-foot view, tracking your brand, seeing your market share, measuring if your ads are working. It gives you the big picture.
But you know, that big picture isn't always enough, especially when things go wrong. So now, let's pivot and look at the modern tool, the one that's specifically designed to diagnose the why. This is all about getting to the root of the problem and, crucially, getting there fast.
And this new method is AI user research. It completely flips the script. Instead of those structured how many surveys, it's designed to have deep, conversational, open-ended interviews with people. The goal here isn't to count answers, it's to explore their real motivations, their frustrations, their true feelings, to uncover the genuine why behind what they do.
And boom, here's the aha moment. Remember that 7-point drop we were so worried about? When you use a tool like Atypica to ask why, you start getting real answers. And it's never just one thing, is it? Suddenly, you discover, oh, our new packaging is actually confusing our loyal customers. Or a competitor just launched a cheaper version. Or people are starting to think our quality is slipping. These are specific, concrete problems you can actually go and fix tomorrow.
So, if we had to boil it all down to one single sentence, this would be it. One tool measures the symptom, the drop in the numbers. The other tool diagnoses the disease, the root causes behind it. When you think about it that way, it becomes so clear where each one fits.
Okay, so we've got measurement versus diagnosis. But there's another absolutely massive difference here, and that's speed. How fast can you get from having a burning question to having an answer you can actually act on? Well, this is where the two approaches are just worlds apart.
Let's look at a pretty standard timeline if you go the traditional route. You've got a week just for scoping out the project, then a couple more weeks to find and recruit the right people, another 2 weeks for them to actually answer the survey, and finally 2 or 3 more weeks for analysis. All in, you're looking at 6 to 8 weeks. By the time you get your answer, the market might have already changed again.
Okay, now, contrast that with the AI research timeline. Are you ready for this? You can design your whole study in about 3 minutes. The AI goes out and does all of those deep, one-on-one interviews in about 10 minutes, and your full analysis is ready 5 minutes after that. The grand total? 20 minutes. Not 6 to 8 weeks, 20 minutes. When you've got a problem you need to solve today, that kind of speed is an absolute game changer.
So let's just lay it all out, side by side. Kantar, a global data powerhouse using massive panels to tell you what is happening over the course of weeks. It's perfect for that big picture, multi-market monitoring.
Atypica, an AI user research platform using deep interviews to give you the why in just 20 minutes. It's built for speed, for fast decisions, and for getting that deep understanding you can't find anywhere else.
So the crucial point here isn't that one of these is good and the other is bad. That's not it at all. It's about having a modern playbook. It's about knowing which tool to pull out of the toolbox for the right job. So how do you actually choose?
Well, here's a pretty simple guide. If you need to track your brand's performance across 15 different countries, or you need to validate a finding with thousands of people for a big board report, the scale of Kantar is absolutely what you need. But if you need to figure out why people are abandoning your sign-up flow right now, or discover what's frustrating them about your new feature, or quickly test a new product idea, you need the deep, fast why insights from Atypica.
And this quote just nails it. For the day-to-day work of building products, of making things better for your users, most decisions you make really hinge on understanding why. Why are people doing this? Why don't they like that? Once you get the why right, then you can start worrying about optimizing for the how many. Now, the most sophisticated teams, they're actually using both. It's a really powerful strategy. Think of it like this. Use Kantar as your long-range radar to track your brand health. As soon as that radar picks up a problem, a blip, you deploy Atypica to go in and diagnose the cause. Then you use Atypica Speed to test different solutions. And once you've found a fix, you go back to Kantar to validate that your solution actually moved the needle on that big market-level scale. It's a beautiful little loop.
But let's be realistic for a second. For about 90% of the daily work that product managers, designers, and marketers do, the challenge isn't tracking those huge global trends. The challenge is solving a very specific user problem. Why is this button failing? Why are people confused by this page? What message do they really want to hear? That's where the real day-to-day work gets done.
So, we'll end with this thought. Your data, your dashboards, your analytics, they're all shouting at you, telling you what is happening every single day. The real question is, are you actually equipped to find out why? And maybe more importantly, can you find out fast enough to make a difference? That's the challenge and the opportunity for every team out there.